Hi everyone, Jasmine here, and welcome to our February blogging Q&A. So for those of you who this is your first time joining, hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a blogger. I have two blogs. I've been blogging since 2011, and I love it. I do these Q&As because I like having an opportunity to talk blogging with other bloggers. So if this is your first time, nice to meet you. The way I usually do this is I answer your questions live. So you post your questions in the chat on the right of the video here, and I'll answer them in real time. Now, what I typically do while I'm waiting for questions from you guys is I come prepared with a topic. So I will be talking through that topic today, but I'll regularly interrupt myself so that I can answer the questions that you guys post in the chat. So for those of you who are here, why don't you go ahead and post a comment. Let me know where you are in the world and tell me about your blog. I would love to share, and you can get a little exposure on the video here. All right, so with that being said, I wanted to talk about today's topic. Now, something that I love to talk about because it is very important for your blog, but it can be difficult because I feel like once you start blogging for a while, it's easy to forget how important this thing is. So I know for some of you, it may seem like old news, but I'm hoping that there may be some tidbits that you guys can pull from what I'm going to discuss today. Okay, so don't mind me clicking around. I'm just grabbing some things because it's a good topic. I'm going to share some really cool freebies with you guys so that you can master it. I think that's it here. Oh, I know where the other one is. Okay, so you're probably like, okay, what is she doing and why hasn't she told us what the topic's about yet? I am still clicking around trying to get all the links for you guys. But the topic I want to talk about today is tracking. Yay! All right, so funny story. When I first started blogging, I had literally no idea what I was doing. And I can tell you almost for a fact that most of you, if you just started blogging yesterday, you already knew more than I knew when I first started blogging. I didn't know anything about technology or getting started with a website. I was hand coding stuff and I didn't know how to code. So I was teaching myself how to code so I can code every single blog post on my site. My site looked like garbage. I wasn't using a theme. I didn't know anything about WordPress. Like, it was a mess. So when I finally figured out some of the basic things, like, you know, a content management system and the importance of like publishing content on a regular basis and promoting it on social media, stuff like that. Something that I was not doing was tracking. Now, when I say tracking, I did have Google Analytics installed on my website, but that is as far as I went. I was not looking over my content on a regular basis, like every month or every 2 weeks, or even, you know, every day, just to see how things were going. And I want to say a couple of years into my blogging, I decided, okay, I need to keep a close eye on all my numbers because I have no idea how things are going. Like, I can say, oh, we got this many followers this month, but it didn't mean anything to me because I wasn't comparing it to last month or this month last year. So when I was able to start tracking and actually using spreadsheets and different tools, I saw the fastest growth on my blog than I had ever seen. And you may say, like, how do you know that? Because how would you know that if you were keeping track of things? I knew that because at this point, I also learned how to look at my Google Analytics data from years past. So I was able to put together a chart using my previous data to see how my website was performing. And when I started tracking, I saw growth in every aspect of my blog. I mean, traffic, I saw better growth in how much money I was making. I saw better growth in like how much I was posting on social media, how many blog posts I was publishing on a regular basis. Everything just improved and it was excellent. So I always say how important it is to make sure that you're actually tracking because, yeah, I mean, it just makes all the difference. all the difference in the world. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that because the tracking is important. All right, so I want to start with a tool that I think is kind of basic, but it's still important, and that is Google Analytics. Now, I know for those of you who have been on Google Analytics for a while, there has been a lot of talk about, is Google Analytics even helpful anymore since they changed to Google Analytics 4? And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. Yes, you should still have the new Google Analytics 4 on your website. And it's pretty easy to do it, to update it from the old Google Analytics to Google Analytics 4. But if I'm going by what stats I like to look at, that's important when it comes to your tracking. Obviously, you want to look at how many users are coming to your site. I think that's the main metric that Google looks at now when you log into your dashboard. So you want to see how many people are coming to your site, how many users. And then what I like to pay really close attention to when I am in Google Analytics is what pages are people landing on my site? How are people coming to my website? So you want to go to the landing pages report. And this gives you an idea of the people who are coming to your site, what pages bring them in. And if you're doing things the right way, it is not your homepage. Your homepage should not be your top page on your site. It should be a blog post of some kind. Hopefully a few blog posts if things are going well from an optimization and promotional standard. So those are the stats I like to look at mostly for Google Analytics. Obviously, I look at things like how much of my traffic is coming from organic search versus social media versus ads versus, direct traffic. So I look at things like that as well. So those are some good stats to look at for Google Analytics. And if you're not tech savvy, like I am not tech savvy, I highly recommend just using a plugin to get analytics updated. Get analytics onto your WordPress. I think the plugin, what plugin do I use? I use a plugin for both of my blogs for my Google Analytics. I used to have the code there, but then I switched it to the plugin because it's just so much easier. All I have to do is put in like what my Google ID is, and that's it. There's no coding involved. You are all set. So I use Google Sitekit on both of my sites. So that's a good plugin. I recommend, here, I'll grab the link for you guys, Google Sitekit. And it's a great plugin. And what's great about it is it's not just pulling in your Google Analytics, you can put in your Google Search Console into it. If you have AdSense, it can pull in data from your Google AdSense, and you have it all on your dashboard in one place. And then, of course, because it's Google, you just put in your ID for your Google Analytics, and it's automatically pulling that data for you. And what I do like about Sitekit, even though Google Analytics isn't as, I don't think it's as user-friendly, or it's just completely changed around like how it used to look. Google Sitekit makes it very easy for you to see your impressions, how many clicks you're getting, how many unique visitors. You can see the top keywords you're getting to your blog, what people are searching for to find you, your top content over the last 30 days. It's great. And so yeah, it's a good plugin to have for keeping track, and you don't have to do much to, you don't have to do much to be able to set it up. It's really easy to use. So not knowing what your website stats are is not acceptable. Especially when you have a tool like this, Google Sitekit, really, really easy to use. Okay, so that's the first tool that I think is important when it comes to tracking your data. Let's talk about another one. Another tool that I like to use is a monetization tracker of some kind. Now, I use a monetization tracker for both of my blogs, and all I do with this is I make sure that I'm keeping track of where my income is coming from for my blog, how much I'm making each month. And it is something I look at every week, if not every single day. And the reason why I do that is because it gives me an idea of how I'm doing so that I can make sure that I'm bringing in more income. Or if I'm not hitting the goals that I set for myself, I can pull some levers to make sure that I get closer to those goals. What am I talking about? First of all, let me just share my link with you guys. This is my free monetization tracker I give out. And what I love about it is it allows me to keep a close eye on how my blog is doing from a monetization perspective. So I'm just going to pull up myself here and just give you guys a quick show of what it looks like, because I think it's pretty cool. It's easy to use, and like I said, I use it for both of my blogs, and it makes things so much easier because I can look at one place and know exactly what's happening from an income perspective. So let me pull it up. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Share my screen. Okay. All right, so here's my monetization tracker. I have instructions on the first tab here to show you how to use it. And then on the second tab, I have year-to-date metrics. So what this does is it is calculating all the information from these other tabs here. I have it on, it says 2022, but it should say 2024. I'm gonna get that updated. There you go. Boom. Let's make sure it's up to date for y'all. Boom. Okay, so this gives me an idea like how I'm doing for the year, how much money has come in so far, and it's all there. And then you see the year to date at the end to see how much money is coming in and where it's coming from. So if I go to this first tab for January, it gives you an idea of all the different categories of ways that I bring in income. And then I have my expenses below that as well as a profit and loss summary. And I believe, yeah, the profit and loss summary, it adds up on its own. There's nothing you need to put here. It's just giving you the numbers you need so that it adds up on its own. So the way I have this set up is I have affiliates. So for example, ConvertKit is an affiliate that I use pretty often. I have the affiliate network, and then how much money I made for that particular affiliate. So I'm just gonna, just to test this out, put $50. I made $50 from affiliates and ConvertKit. And I can put in the expected pay date for ConvertKit. I think they're 60 days in arrear. So I can put 60 days or put the exact date for when I expect to get paid. And what that does is when I go down to the profit and loss, if I look at affiliates, it's saying the $50 is already totaled up here. And then I can do the same thing for my other categories here as well. Advertising networks, whatever advertising network you're on, sponsored post networks as well. Yes, sponsored post networks, if you apply to different sponsored post opportunities, you can fill that in here, say how much it is and your expected pay date. And then partnerships as well. These are when I reach out to typically with like a different affiliates, or if I'm pitching brands as opposed to applying for sponsored post deals, I'll post those under partnerships. And then of course I put my products under here as well. I just put my, oops, sorry about that. I put my example products in here, how much I made from those. And then I have my expenses that I put in. So different tools that I'm using, I make sure I put in how much it costs, how much it posts, and then the amount. And then I have a section just for single time expenses. So things you only bought this one time. For example, I will sign up for like a Fiverr gig for a month to help me with like some brand content creation or something like that. Personnel expenses, so anyone I'm paying to help me do some of this labor. And then of course, like I said, it totals all on the bottom here and gives me my monthly net income because it's taking my income, subtracting my expenses, and then telling me how much I made. And then of course, all this is tallied on the year to date page here. So this is a really awesome tool that helps with keeping you on track with your monetization. Like I said, I check mine at least once a week, and that's usually when I'm busy, but it's something I like to look at every single day, because if I'm off, like, we're not on track to hit our goal for sponsored posts, I need to go out there and I need to pitch some more sponsored posts so that I can actually hit my goals this month. So those are the things that I like to do. All right, so that's another tool that I use to help me stay on track when it comes to tracking for your blog. And it's my blog monetization tracker. There's the link for it. You guys can sign up for it. It doesn't cost anything. Just put in your email address and they'll email it right to you. And it's a lifesaver. You can't grow what you don't measure. So if your goal is to bring in more income with your blog, I highly recommend using some type of monetization tracker, even if you don't use mine. But you can use mine, it's free. Okay, so far, what have we talked about? I talked about different tools that help with tracking that will help you grow your blog. And I also talked about my story about how once I started tracking everything, I saw growth in everything. I saw growth in traffic. I saw growth in my monetization strategies. I saw growth when it came to how many social media followers I was growing and how many posts I was doing on social media, how many blog posts I was publishing. So I saw growth everywhere. So it's important for sure. And so far, all we talked about was Google Analytics, which is important. And then we talked about blog monetization tracker, and that's also important. Now, there's another tool I absolutely love, and it's called Affiliate. And I'll share my affiliate link. I'm an affiliate for them, but I absolutely love Affiliate because what they do, I mean, it's incredible what they do. You can get a free trial going through my link so you can see it for yourself, but I'll try to sum up what they do for you. Affiliate is a tool that helps you measure your affiliate marketing in general. So let's say if you're doing any type of affiliate marketing, I can almost guarantee that you are on about, I don't know, 5 to 10 different websites that has a variety of different brands that you signed up for, and you're promoting links from them. And it works out because you can see all in one place for each of those websites how much you're making. The pain in the ass part comes with knowing when you actually make money, first of all, like without having to log into all these websites and check it out. And then 2, being able to know where it came from and when you're going to get paid. And just having all the information. It takes so much time to go through all those websites. And it's something that I do at least once a week, if not every day. So it's just time consuming. Affiliate links to all those websites that you're on. And what it does is give you an overview of how much you're making with affiliate marketing. One place. It is amazing. Not only does it do that, but Affiliate will go through all of your blog posts on your website, and it'll say what people are clicking on within that blog post. So, for example, you may think that you get the most clicks to your affiliates in buttons. So you add buttons to all of your blog posts so for people to go through and click. But with Affiliate, it actually looks at all of your blog posts and it'll say, okay, actually where people are clicking on the most is the titles. So it's good to put hyperlinks in your titles so that you get more affiliate income from the clicks. And those are some things that I've made changes to because Affiliate is giving me some data I just didn't have visibility into before. So that's one thing that Affiliate can do. They link to all your affiliate channels so you can see where they all are in regard to what channels they're on. But something else that's really cool is you can categorize all of your affiliate articles, and they can put some reporting together for you that shows which types of articles are getting the most traffic for you. So for example, you may notice that your how-to articles get more affiliate income than do your list articles, so that you have that data and you can go in and say, okay, I need to write more list articles because that's where I'm making more affiliate income. So that's kind of how it works in regard to using Affiliate. I'm really condensing this down by a lot, but it is a very, very powerful tool. I highly recommend just trying it out for a couple of weeks. You do have to get it set up with all of your affiliate channels and your website. But once you get it, it's powerful. It is incredibly powerful. It can tell you your click-through rate for every single blog post you have when it comes to people clicking through for affiliate content. But it can also tell you which pages are earning you the most money. And yeah, it's very important to use. It also like highlights all of your links on your blog. So you can have a blog post that has like 5 different affiliate links. Well, Affiliate will just list out every affiliate link on your website in order by rank. So this particular link gets more clicks than any other link on your website. So that's valuable information too. Oh, okay. Last thing I'll tell you, and this was the thing that really converted me to being a believer for Affiliate. It keeps track of your Amazon link. So if you're an Amazon affiliate, one of the biggest pains in the asses is knowing when a link isn't working for Amazon. Because of course, like we click through for Amazon, and it'll take them there. But if that product doesn't exist anymore, well, it's not going to do a whole lot of help for you if people don't find that same product on Amazon within 24 hours. So what Affiliate does is it gives you a list of all the Amazon links that aren't working right now, so you can go and update them. So that's another one that's really powerful, a really good use of the tool. So anyway, I'll get up my high horse about Affiliate. If you want to know more about it, I do have a really good review I wrote when I first started using Affiliate. I love it even more since I've written this blog post late fall last year. But I have some screenshots so you can see what it looks like, as well as some of the things I just talked about now on like heat maps and how they put all the links in rank order and just a lot of cool stuff. So just check it out if you're curious, because it's really, really helpful for me. Okay, so recap. And of course, for those of you who are here, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat next to the video here. I have no problem interrupting myself so I can answer your questions. And I'll do a quick recap on what we talked about so far. So my whole topic today is talking about tracking, how important it is, and some of the tools that I use for tracking that help me grow my blog in every single way. The first tools I talked about was making sure that you have, of course, Google Analytics. And in this case, Google Analytics 4, so that you're getting the updated data to your website, for your website to you. And then I use a plugin called Google Site Kit that helps with my Google Analytics being on my WordPress site, and it's really easy to understand the data as well. So that's the first one I talked about. The second is a monetization tracker, meaning tracking what income is coming in on your blog and just, keeping a record of where your income is coming from. Are you getting more money from sponsored posts? Are you getting more from affiliates? Are you getting more, excuse me. Are you getting more from partnerships or advertising? Just having a tracker to look at all of those things and then track your expenses as well, so you're keeping balance with how much you're spending versus how much you're earning, is pretty important. So that was the second tool I talked about, is having a monetization tracker. And then I shared the link to mine because I have a free one that you guys can use. You just have to put your email address in and it's there for you, ready to go. So monetization tracker. And then something we just talked about was Affiliate. And Affiliate is a tool I love to use because it's super easy to track any income you're making with affiliates, but also it measures how effective your blog posts are, your affiliate articles, so that you can make improvements to make more affiliate income. So yeah, that was a lot already that I covered in regard to various tools. If you have any questions about different tracking or just general blogging questions, feel free to post them in the chat and I will be happy to answer that as well. All right, so we talked about Google Analytics and just tracking stuff on your website. But something else that I like to track is I like making sure that I'm tracking just my basic website, not even website. I will say blogging business tracking in general. Let me see if I can find the one that I use. But when I say just basic tracking, I'm talking looking at your KPIs in general and knowing where you stand with everything, not just your monetization. So I have one called a social media tracker tool. But I mean, social media is just one element of this that I think is important. Something else that you want to make sure that you're tracking is your email subscribers. And that is so important if you are trying to sell a product later on, or if you're selling affiliate products. Keeping track of things like that is important. So something I have is I call it my KPI dashboard. Let me share my screen with you guys and I'll show you what it looks like here. I don't think I have that one where I'm giving it away for free, but I can. If you're interested in it, feel free to just let me know in the chat and I'll send you the link to mine so you can make a copy yourself until I figure out how to make this one of my freebies. But I really like this because it helps me keep track of what's happening. So anyway, here's my KPI dashboard. What I do is I keep track of all the elements of my site that's not related to monetization. So this first tab is all social media. I have YouTube stats, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. If you have any others like TikTok or whatever, you want to put that on here as well, that's fine. So that's helpful just to keep track of where you are with all your stats. The second tab, I keep track of my email KPIs. So things I like to look at for email: how many subscribers you have in total, how many new subscribers you gained that month, how many email campaigns being sent, what's your open rate, what's your click-through rate. And then I also keep track of like all my various freebies, where my followers are coming in from. So which of my freebies are driving the most email subscribers. So I keep that in my email KPIs as well. And then I have one for websites. So we are looking at our data for Google Analytics, but what I like about having an Excel sheet for this is being able to compare them month to month on how things are going. So I like to look at, I'm looking at things such as not just page views and click-throughs and things like that. I'm looking at my organic keywords. How many do I have? I'm looking at any keywords that may have changed. Did I lose keywords this month? Did I improve my domain authority or decrease my domain authority? Just a variety of different things. So even though this is all website traffic, I'm pulling data from SEMrush, Google Analytics, Moz, Google Search Console. I'm trying to see what else I have on here. And then I also keep track, even though we have a social media tracking tab, I keep track of how much traffic is actually coming from these various social media channels to my website. So I keep that on the actual website traffic tab here as well. And that's what I have when it comes to just tracking your overall KPIs. So hopefully that's helpful. But I think it's really helpful to keep track of all that data. It may be a little bit much from a weekly or day-to-day basis. I don't do that. I do it once a month. Sometimes I even forget and do it like once every 2 months because I have all the historical data with my various tools. But it's really important to make sure you're keeping track of those things, because at the end of the year or beginning of the year, when you're going through everything and saying what works, what doesn't, are we not getting traffic from Instagram and we're spending all this time trying to get Instagram posts up, maybe we shouldn't be doing Instagram anymore. It just gives you an opportunity to make some educated hypotheses on how you want to move forward with your business by having that data. Because sometimes it just, and more times than not, I will say this, I will feel like something's not working. Like, man, I feel like I put in all this time and effort in this thing and it's not working. And then I go back and look at the data and I'm like, oh, this is actually doing great, especially compared to some of the other things that I'm doing. So yeah, that's why it's good to have the data to look through it and just plan accordingly. So that's another really good tool I like, just tracking your KPIs that's not related to monetization. One thing I will say is I make a point to keep monetization and my other KPIs separate, because monetization is so important to make sure you're paying attention to. So I make sure to do that so that there's no issues with, I don't know, just giving monetization the focus that it needs. Just in general, it's important. Okay, what else? So I talked through a few tools. I'll talk about KPIs for your website. talked about tools for monetization, including affiliate, and then a monetization tracker. Those are important. If I'm thinking about tracking, the only other thing I would say that I track is just paying attention to my tools that I'm using. And let me see here. I have a blog tool inventory document. And what I like to do with this document is I keep a track of all the tools I'm using right now. And then I put down how much do they cost me each month. And I say, what is that tool for? And the reason why I do this is because periodically I'll go through this and I'll see like, oh yeah, I'm paying $30 for a tool for Instagram, but I'm not posting on Instagram anymore. So why am I paying $30 for this tool? Take it off. Or, and this happens more often than you think, I will be on the lowest paid plan for a tool, and then that tool will change their pricing structure. So now there's a lower paid plan, one where I qualify for because I'm not using all these features anyway, and it's half the cost of what I'm paying this month. So that's something else. Make sure you're going on these websites, I want to say at least once a quarter. Look through your tools, look on, did anything change with the pricing structure? Am I still using this? Is there another tool that has improved or gotten worse where I can move from this tool to the other? I'll give you an example of that. Thinkific, really great tool if you have courses. And I use it for most of my courses. I also have an account with ThriveCart. The ThriveCart is better for if you have a product that's like an ebook or some type of PDF. Well, ThriveCart recently changed so that now they're pretty much an LMS system, which they were not. An LMS, by the way, is a learning management system. And a learning management system is a place where you can host a whole course and people can take the course on that platform. That wasn't ThriveCart until, I don't know, a few months ago or so. And I have a lifetime subscription to ThriveCart. So that's easy, right? As opposed to the monthly fee I'm paying for Thinkific. So I'm currently in the process of moving my courses over from Thinkific to ThriveCart. Thinkific's still great. It's just expensive as hell. And ThriveCart is something I don't have to pay monthly for. So those are the things you want to be mindful of. It changes all the time. I did this a few months ago and I found at least 3 different tools that I'm currently paying for that changed the pricing structure, or they added something that another one of my tools already does. So I can get rid of that other tool and just move everything to this tool. So it's an important thing to do. I call it a blog tool inventory. Just keep track of all your tools you're using, how much they cost, why are you using it, and then I guess pros and cons of it. And then just take some time to go through all the websites for those tools to see if anything is changing in their pricing structure and any new tools or resources that they have that may overlap with different tools that you already have. So you don't have to pay for 2 different tools when you could just be paying for one, for example. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the blog tool inventory. And then one last tool that I like to use for tracking, and this one you don't have to do if you're not doing like sponsored posts or pitching brands as much, but it is an excellent tool for pitching brands. And the tool I use is called Yesware. Now, what Yesware does is it's a Chrome plugin or Chrome extension that links to your email account and it tracks your emails. So, for example, if I send you an email from my Google email account with Yesware, Yesware lets me know when you open it. You don't have to sign or click anything that says you want this person to know that you opened the email. It does it automatically. And I can see every time you open that email, if you open it today, if you open it next week, if you forward it to someone else, I see someone else in another city and state have opened that email, I can track all that stuff. And what I do is if I see, for example, I sent an email to a brand to pitch, like, hey, I'm interested in working with you, blah, blah, blah. Here's my pitch. I can see they opened that email. I can see that they forwarded to someone else. and then a week goes by and they haven't replied back to me. So I know that they've actually considered what I have, and now I'm going to send them another email because I know they actually opened the dang thing. And I'm going to keep following up to see if they open those emails. Another scenario that I've seen is I can see when people click through to my media kit or whatever. I can see that. And that's just it. It just gives you more insight to know, are people opening my emails? Did I use a good subject line? Did they not see this at all? Should I resend this email with a different subject line? All good things to know when you're like pitching brands so that you know what actions to take to get more brand sponsor posts. And that tool I mentioned is called Yesware. It's awesome. I use it for both of my blogs. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they use it, the way it's advertised is like a sales tool, which I guess that's true. It makes sense because you want to track like who is actually opening your emails. But yeah, I have the ability to look in there, see who's opening my emails, but I also keep track of templates. So I have email templates that I just fill in the blanks when I'm pitching a brand. And I can include that in the tool. And then it gives me data on which templates are more effective with getting people to open an email versus templates that get people to click through. So yeah, those are all things that I pay attention to when it comes to Yesware. It's a really nifty tool from a tracking perspective, knowing who opens your emails, what they're opening, what templates work, what templates don't work. And I believe you have the ability to send out emails in bulk. I'm just looking through the website really quick. I think you can do that. I'm not sure. That's not how I use it, but it kind of works like a CRM almost with email. Just knowing how you can send out emails and stuff like that. Again, not something that is all that important to do because it is a tool you have to pay for. But it is so helpful if you are pitching brands on a monthly basis to be able to track who's opening your emails, who's not, and what email templates are actually proving to be effective when it comes to getting people to open or click through. All right, so that's it. I mean, I know I covered a lot today in regard to different tracking tools. Not a whole lot of questions, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat here. I'm going to do a quick recap on the tracking tools that worked well for me. I mentioned Google Analytics, the Google Sitekit plugin, so you can see traffic on your website. I talked about using the monetization tracker to track how much income is coming into your blog and from where. You can use my free monetization tracker that's in the chat here. I talked about using a tool called Affiliate, so you have a better record of different affiliates that are that you're promoting on your website, and just being able to improve your content and see how effective each of your affiliate posts are doing. It's about Affiliate, and then I also talked about trying to think Affiliate. Oh. And then I talked about a KPI tracker, tracking your KPIs that's not monetization related. So email, social media, website stats, that's not just, overall traffic to your website. So that's important. And then I talked about a blog tool inventory sheet. So you can keep track of what tools you're using, how much they cost, and if there's anything you can combine or get rid of anytime things aren't working out. And then the last thing I talked about was not the blog tool inventory, but the Yesware, the tool that lets you track how many people are opening your emails, so you can see when you pitch brands which ones are working, which ones aren't, and just be more effective with your overall pitching. So that was a lot. I know it was a lot of information, but if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm happy to answer your questions. And other than that, that's all I got. I guess I will see you guys next month. I do these every month, the last Wednesday of the month. I'm looking forward to seeing your questions so I can get some answers to you. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.